Yeah, but
But then they would
even if
have
you,
to face up against either the KP again or the winner of the other match.
yeah, they'll eventually, even if they if they lose here and have to play against the loser of the other match, they would have to play either the winner of that match or KP again, and
Yeah.
that's not ideal. Like, there's
It's not
a
it's
pretty,
not a secret strat that you would
yeah,
do.
there's a pretty likely scenario where you just have to play KP again, and after dropping a 2-0 set to him, it's probably not looking great for you. But they're going to pick up the gyrocopter here this time, so that gives them a more aggressive carry, one that's less farm dependent and can get involved in the game a lot earlier. And also can maneuver a lot better than something like an anti-mage can really in that early laning phase. And we're seeing swift picks here.
Yeah, they pick up a Templar Assassin this time though. They banned it out in the previous game. They will still be up against Puck. But yeah, I agree the Gyrocopter is a lot more aggressive than an anti-mage could be. I'm still not entirely convinced. So far, a lot still relies on that middle lane and still bottom lane. Even though Gyrocopter can be a lot more aggressive early game, he still needs a bit of farm at the start. And we know that Bone 7, especially with a bit of help from a support, can just make the life of a Gyrocopter hell. And it will still be very tough for him to get last hits. Shadow Demon is still in the pool if KP want to go for that, but this time they pick up a Crystal Maiden instead of that. And that means that we are gonna see a carry. Maybe an anti-mage, most successful carry of Eternal Envy since 6.78. Yes, I have discovered stats today.
Stats. Crystal Maiden, I wonder how much of that is just a reactionary pick against Templar Assassin, because the Frostbite will be able to remove her fraction charges while holding her in place. I could see, and I guess it also works against Treant Protector armor as well, so maybe that's what they're thinking of with that pick. Not at support here, we see a ton of though. She's slow, she's frail, and those are kind of not desirable traits in your support heroes. You don't want them to be very, very easy to kill.
Especially not up against a Templar Assassin.
Yeah, against Gyrocopter, Templar, and Weaver are all great core heroes at punishing easy to kill supports.
Yeah.
Particularly Weaver and Templar Assassin, but as the game goes on, Gyrocopter Flat Cannon could just absolutely
Crystal Maiden
decimate
can't even stand in a fight then.
Yeah, within 1,000 range of where the fight is, which is so very, very poor. Yeah, it's not. I don't. I think I see where they're going with it, and maybe I think it's the Frostbite just being an effective ability against a couple of their heroes early on. But as the game goes on, Crystal Maiden really becomes weaker and weaker, so they might pick something a little more aggressive here in terms of carries than the anti-mage like you've been mentioning.
Yeah, let's see if we still see a Shadow Demon. I kinda like that's the only real setup disable you still have, or even a saving disable is that kinda. So maybe they want to have that one, but again, actually, I just want to point out that they don't really have any disable, so I still wouldn't be surprised to see someone that has a solid disable. And even though, I mean, yes, a disruption is a kind of disable, but you want to have a disable that you can attack through. Especially if, for example, there's gonna be an alchemist right now, you don't want him to be able to hit anything while you attack him. And they pick up a shackle. That's nice. I like this.
Yeah, I think it's much better than the Shadow Demon here. Shadow Demon doesn't do a ton without something to follow it up, and Tree is a support that doesn't do anything ever. He has that tree armor, which is fantastic for helping your other lanes, but doesn't help you in lane get kills or force them out. You're great at surviving, you aren't good at killing. Windrunner has a lot of abilities that are good at killing, with both Shackle Shot, Power Shot are very effective abilities for trying to just take a hero out of lane. I don't know what KP are going to go with for their carry. I'm still expecting something pretty aggressive though.
Alchemist.
You think it's Alchemist? It could certainly be
It's my
Alchemist. It
best.
works.
Never mind. I'm wrong.
Okay.
I haven't seen
That was-
Envy on the Shadow Fiend for ages, I believe. I've actually... Actually, he hasn't played a Shadow Fiend in 6.78 as a carry. Don't you just love stats?
I mean, I'm pretty big fan of stats.
Me too.
They they give us information that like I'm not gonna remember that. I'm like, oh, I don't think he's played. And then there's like one game where he played or something silly, and you're wrong. And of course, chat will jump all over. You're like, whoa, what about this game?
I think it would
'Cause
be a
we can,
pretty mean stat man.
yeah,
Yeah.
you change the jobs. Don't want to be camera and play-by-play. You want to go stats.
I want to do it all.
Just do it all.
Yeah,
That
I want
seems
to
like
do
a
it
lot of
all.
work. Well, you can't do camera and stats because
That's
you
true.
have to like type.
That kind of sucks. Yeah,
That's the
like
problem.
I once pressed my hotkey by accident for. Oh, that's not the right hotkey for making
F10.
stats. No, F10. I don't have it on F10.
Oh, you moved it.
I moved it, but I don't know where. I pressed it by accident yesterday. Oh, maybe it's the G. Maybe it's the H because game is paused. It comes up as. Well, anyway. But then, like, everybody sees it. So everybody already sees the stat before I put it out. So it's kind of like, okay, useless.
Yeah, you can't do it if you're also directing the camera. It's definitely not H. You can bring it up while the game's paused. If it's saying game is paused, it's probably because it's trying to hold position,
Oh.
and you can't do that while the game's paused. But you also don't have a unit, so you can't do that normally. But my H also says game is paused if I press it.
Oh, I am pressing all the buttons.
You lost it.
I really
I can't
wonder
even,
where it
I can't even
went.
help because like mine is F10. This is the first time Eternal Envy is on
Hey.
the Shadow Fiend.
I wonder where
Yeah.
you got that stat from.
Probably the same place you got your
Yeah.
or double statting in this game.
Yep. I just look it up beforehand. No, I had actually, cause I was gonna look stuff up on Quantic, but then Quantic didn't play. By the way, for people that are wondering, Soxka is okay. He just needs a couple of days rest. So don't worry. Like if it says like someone's hospitalized, I instantly have like red flags in my brain and thinking, oh my god, he's gonna die. But he's fine. Just needs a couple of days rest. So, yeah. But that's why Quantic isn't here. That's why Uebelst is here. And that is and then I got stuck on looking up stats for KP, so I only have like Eternal Envy screen stuck on the stats thing. Oh well. Let's introduce everybody who's playing what. KP is on the Radiant side this game, and we have got Eternal Envy playing the Shadow Fiend. We've got Come With Me once again on the Rubik. He played that brilliantly in the previous game, was really nicely done. Pylite die on the Crystal Maiden, and they will form a tri-lane here on this bottom lane, a safe tri-lane, so that the Shadow Fiend can farm. We've got Bone 7 playing the Darkseer. Once again, this time though, he's not going to be on the lane. It looks like he will be just jungling and making sure that he gets some solid farm up on there, as Ortizi once again on the puck will be, of course, fighting in the mid lane, and he is going to be up against Axis.
Yep, and for Uebelst, on the dire side, we're going to exist in the middle lane on the Templar Assassin. Their bottom off lane will be Eid on the Weaver. And finally, their safe tri-lane going to be composed of Alex on the Treant Protector, Natural on the Windrunner, and finally RMN on the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, and I'm actually thinking Weaver, I mean, even with the living armor, it's still pretty tricky to be around there. Because there is a Fate Bolt, there is the Frostbite that you already said, like, does it, I believe it actually also puts off the living armor, not just refraction, but, I mean, you mentioned it from refraction, but living armor, that is, yeah.
I said, during the draft, I was pretty sure, I said I think that happens. I'm pretty sure it does, but, like, we saw Darkseer's not work last game. I'm pretty sure,
Oh, there's a Frostbite already. Only level 1, so very short duration, but the harassment is still going to be there. And Eve, yeah, I mean, he's not having a point in experience just yet. It's a bit tough. And we have got RTC on the puck, as we just saw. I mean, he's 6-0 with puck. And I would expect, like, if you are Uebelst, you know that you're going to be up against KP, like, do some research. Ban the puck. Perhaps.
I mean, they had the opportunity to ban the puck in this game, too,
they
and they
did.
just chose not to. They went with a matchup that's maybe a little more what they're looking for with the Templar Assassin. Less likely to just get completely bursted down just because it has refraction. But Arteezy is already just going pretty hard on Exist here, trying to take off those refraction charges as quickly as possible, and out farming pretty heavily at the moment, which really shouldn't be the case this early.
It shouldn't be the case at all. Oh god, I pressed the button. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that mid lane is just... You're gonna assume, like, you are a Templar Assassin that has a tree on your side that does not have an aggressive lane against him, so you should be able to have living armor, you should be able to get all the last hits, but he, like, Exist is 8-2, Arteezy is sitting at 14-5, so it's not even a small difference, it's a big difference.
Yeah, already, and this time there aren't supports like hanging out there trying to make things terrible for the Templar Assassin to start things off. So looking good in that lane. Of course, both respective safe lanes are getting pretty much complete free farm on their carry heroes. Shadowfiend a little bit behind simply because Shadowfiend has a little more trouble last hitting early on, and Weaver was sort of hanging around. But things are pretty close to even.
Yeah, I agree. And now Exist gets living armor. There we go. Weaver has a 9-2 win rate against Crystal Maiden. I'm surprised they actually faced 10 times in total.
Yeah, that seems like way more than I would have guessed. I wouldn't have even guessed that 11 Crystal Maidens have been picked up. I guess that could have been in like the entire history of Dota 2, and then maybe it's a little more relevant. But Crystal Maiden not a hero we see picked up, especially lately.
Yeah, we actually I'm actually thinking this was a mistake. Because Bone 7 died in the jungle, and we saw there was an Ursa thing really low on life, and I think he probably just hoped to get that last hit and then move back. But he died.
Yeah, it's hard to say if he wanted to die or if he wanted to kill it. All we can do is guess.
Yeah.
I would venture the guess that he probably didn't want to suicide there. He was already level 3 or 4. 4, definitely 4. Yeah. So it takes a little bit longer. It's not like a level 1 support suiciding for the free TP.
Yeah, I agree, but oh well, he died. In the meantime, we still have a level 1 on the Weaver. There's whoa, that's gonna be orb away from Arteezy. There we go. Weaver in the frostbite though, they are able to pick him up. That's a first blood. That's a ton of damage coming through there. 2 raises being put down from Eternal Envy, and he also picks up the gold for that one. So he is pretty damn rich right now, and even though he is behind on last hitting on the gyrocopter, he is definitely ahead in gold right now.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, he gets a little bit more gold, and he's starting to get a lot of souls up. So he's going to have very little trouble lasting as the game goes on. 263 games in total, 4% has she faced a Weaver. Yeah, 263 is...
we have to imagine, like, it probably got it from that Dota, and that Dota has stats recorded since TI2. So, then she was... Yeah, she was actually pretty popular still then. At least I remember making a guide on her because she was picked up often. No, Dream Coil, they want to try and take down Exist. In some trouble, there goes the living armor. It's already gone again though, and that's gonna be Exist dead. Boom! Arteezy with the kill, and Bone 7 rotating just to make that happen. And again, first rotation for mid comes from KP, and make sure that the difference between those two is gonna be in favor of KP. And right now, I mean, again, Templar Assassin, same thing as Queen of Pain. He does need a bit of an okay mid lane to be able to do something in the mid game. And if we already have a puck besting the TA then there, it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, once again, their mid-hero, this game Templar Assassin, even though last was Queen of Pain, is going to be very important to Uebelst's late game, or mid-game rather. And on the other hand, KP can commit a lot here. Probably Die might be in trouble though.
Yeah, Frostbite up on Exist, so that is one shut down, but the other is already in front, and that's gonna be a nice pickup for the TA. And those kind of kills, we hope, if you are for Uebelst, you hope to see them more. Because the Crystal Maiden is a squishy target. It's free gold basically walking around whenever she is by herself. And, I mean, next time there's not even 2 people needed for that. Frostbite won't be able to hold them in place forever, and we're gonna expect a Blink Dagger maybe up on the TA. Yeah. And that's level 2 for the Weaver, by the way. I mean, they did kill a level 2 Crystal Maiden, so you get some extra experience from that if you're level 1. Arteezy in some trouble. Exist might be able to get a return kill here. Looks like, oh, one nice phase shift, but it's not going to be enough. There we go. That's Exist with living armor and refraction, able to survive, able to get himself a return kill mid. And this was, of course, a solo kill So solo experience for him, while of course for the kill that Puck did on him, it was split up.
Yeah, definitely good for the Templar Assassin in the mid lane to be able to get a kill like that. Slows down RTZ quite a bit, but also gives him even more farm to be able to start moving around. And that's gonna really open up the map once this Templar Assassin grabs a Blink Dagger, starts moving towards that bottom lane, getting those kills down there. Like I said, Crystal Maiden, free gold effectively, and they can't really afford to let these heroes like Rubik, like Crystal Maiden, to get picked off repeatedly by the Templar Assassin.
Yeah, one thing that we haven't really seen, like the supports, of course we had a rotation earlier on from KP. Level 4 up on the Rubik, level 3 up on the Crystal Maiden, not really that amazing. Wait a second, Exist might be in some trouble here. Bone 7 comes towards mid lane again, looking for Exist, but they won't be able to get him, and maybe Bone 7 is in some trouble. Darkseer Wall actually gets put down, don't... Exist walked through it twice because he could. Tree comes in, and that's a surge away for Bone 7 into safety. But there's actually a big camp stack there for Eternal Envy, and there's no camp stacks for anybody on Uebelst because the supports try to farm there as well. We've got a level 4 up on the Windrunner. Telekinesis, Shackle will be there upon Come With Me though. Might be in some trouble, but they're not going to be able to chase that. So level 5 now for the Windrunner, and of course a Tree is level 4 still. So the levels actually are very even here for the supports, but as Puck goes down for the second time in mid lane. But I'm actually thinking like there is some extra again for Envy. He already got the first blood. He's also got some stacks stacked up for him. But in comes Arman. Cooldown comes down. Come With Me might actually be going down. There we go. But Arman is in trouble. Rocket Barrage might do enough damage to Eternal Envy though, but he is not. He has not specced up his ulti, so he ends up still going down. Byline die. He gets the kill there. Frostbite. He's not going to be able to get away though, but good job for him still getting that kill in return. But 4 people died there in total. Of course, minus the Puck who would have died in the mid lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Yeah, a lot of death taking place, but it's definitely favoring Uebelst at the moment.
Yeah.
They're having a pretty good time this game, and if mid is starting to go their way, Puck dying a couple times now, both solo, I believe, to Templar Assassin. I didn't see the second one really, but if Shadow Fiend starts dying in this bottom lane while Gyro is getting kills, like he eventually died there, but survived for a long time just because of how annoying Tree is, how great all of his abilities are for keeping someone alive. It was mostly just like Leech Seed healing RMN while he was standing there dealing as much damage as possible.
Yeah.
Things could definitely go
that's
worse.
gonna be Windrunner. Oh, Living Armor keeps him up a little while longer, but never mind that. 3 people from KP coming top, and now also 3 people here from Uebelst. It's gonna be Come With Me already dead. Overgrowth goes on Bone 7. Can they stop him from TPing? No, they cannot. That's not something that Overgrowth does. And that is gonna be KP out. 1-for-1 trade in the end, unless Arteezy dies here, but I think that he should be safe. He will be safe.
Yeah, but it ends up just being a 1-for-1 trade. They aren't able to get the tower down. Eternal Envy does eventually push that tower in the bottom lane. Didn't see who got the last hit. The tower did eventually go down, but they're not doing a ton while this is going on. They have a lot of heroes up in this top lane trying to keep their tier 1 safe. It's going to take some damage from this catapult, and one of the biggest problems is that with that Tree on the other side, he can heal towers as well. So they really have to be able to commit to killing the tower completely. They were dealing a lot of damage to the tier 1 top, but Living Armor is starting to get it back up in health already.
Yeah, we do have 4 people off KP here, so they do want to commit. Question is, can they? Because in comes not only the Windrunner, but also the cooldown. The Shackle latches on Bone 7. Tower will still end up going down. Will they lose something in return, though? Exist was still able to TP in. That's gonna be Puck already down. Can't help anymore in this fight. Flak Kanaz doing quite some damage there. Come With Me getting slowed. Exist chasing him down. There comes the Living Armor. Dreamcoil, as Arteezy has bought back, comes in and locks in place Exist, who actually will end up going down. There comes another Overgrowth. Alex will go down for that, and they will try to back off because Uebelst, without that Tree, without that TA, they can't do anything anymore, and they run, they flee. And they might actually still lose Natural because there comes Arteezy. He gets a double kill out of buying back, which is of course definitely worth it for him.
Yeah, and Arteezy, he knows he's dying there, throws the orb, immediately buys back, and when you do that on Puck, you can jaunt to the orb.
Same thing as the time lapse for the Weaver does, as it has been called an Arteezy, I believe. I heard people say call it that. I'm gonna call that this one as well. Because it was,
Alright.
yeah.
I'm okay with it. I've seen him do it a couple times. It's definitely a good little small play that ends up being able to do big things if you can get something on the buyback.
Yeah.
And Armen in the mid lane's some trouble.
Yeah, TPs are gonna come in to try and help him out, but it won't be enough. He will end up going down. The Shackle will edge Pylite die, but he seems to be able to get away from to the high ground and TP out. In the meantime, maybe we're gonna exist. He doesn't have his refraction for another 3 seconds, but they're not gonna chase it. But they do get the tower. Envy coming in to take the last hit. Envy, who has himself the Shadow Blade now, and that is gonna be putting KP back on the map. There was a time where I thought Uebelst was having it, but if we look at the gold graph, we can't really find that point back because it's just a steep line up, and it is going towards a 7k gold in favor of KP. Experience graph shows it a bit more clear, I guess. That does show that Uebelst at some point won that fight, got back towards that 0 line, but since previous fight, it goes back up. It goes back towards a 3.5k for KP.
Yeah, it's not surprising that they were ahead on farm because they had the Darkseer jungling, whereas the Weaver was really getting effectively nothing. And their offlane, so it was just like their offlane was doing a lot better, and that was where most of that gold difference was coming. But KP winning that fight, getting a lot of kills after the buyback, and then they just got those 2 kills. The Weaver in the bottom lane, and the Gyro in the mid lane, and now they're going on natural in this mid lane.
Yeah, telekinesis already there. Just look to be able to pick it up though. Lychee still helping out. Is there gonna be a shackle? Nice shackle. Natural powers will go through as well. Come with me in some trouble. Come with me. Dead. Crystal Maiden goes down on the other side. That's gonna be Arteezy going down as well. 3 pickoffs for just 1 Windrunner. Another dominating streak going away of Uebelst, and that is them taking it back. And that was a brilliant shackle there from Windrunner. She definitely made it worth her while. The elite cheat that was allowing her to stay alive for a little while longer. Oh,
yeah, again.
Wait a second, in comes Eternal Envy. Vacuum! Oh my god! Into the Vacuum of Souls. Triple kill going to Bone 7's Iron Shell. Brilliantly played. The only one that didn't die was the one that already died earlier. That's true. The Windrunner.
Yeah, so that just happened.
Yep.
That's a lot of damage with the vacuum into Requiem of Souls combo. So yeah, they were able to just completely win that fight, even though they lost it immediately before that. It's huge for Eternal Envy. He's gonna get. He got so much gold there. He picked up a Mask of Madness on Shadowfiend. All right, it's ballsy.
You think it's a bit
Definitely.
trolly? Oh, in comes Natural looking for Shackle perhaps. Can he do something? Doesn't latch. Power shot. There's already gonna be 1 dead though, and it's not one on the side of KP. Well, now it is a 1-for-1 trade. Darkseer goes down as well as Armen on his Gyrocopter. Come with me. Will end up getting dropped as well. It's a double kill for Exist. Envy gets dusted up, and